Happy day everybody, my name is Jeremy and this is Barbecue Elementary. Today I'll be trying my darndest to make pulled pork on my Cinder Block Smoker. So without wasting any more time, let's go. Before I could get the cooker up and running, I had to tidy up a bit. Because this thing is located in untouched wilderness, I had to pull some weeds that had grown up surrounding and also had some weeds growing up inside my cook chamber. After I pulled most of the weeds, I also took the opportunity to adjust some of these cinder blocks and close up any gap that had formed. And once old Cindy passed the kick test, it was time to start the fire. I know not everybody likes to start off with charcoal, but for this Cinder Block Smoker, it's been nice to get a coal bed going. That way I can just set logs on top to get the fire going. Now waiting for this chimney of charcoal to get started gives me plenty of time to prep things like this pork butt. Now don't be weird, if you're not aware, butts come from the pig's front hip, aka their shoulder, not the nether regions. That's where your holiday ham comes from. And after this front butt was all wiped dry, it's time to put on the binder. And I've said it here before, mustard is the best. Won't taste like anything and it lets your rub stick really well. Today I'll be using Holy Voodoo from the Champs Meat Church, and I got this nice little shaker so that I wouldn't have to distribute the rub with a cup anymore. My plan is to use this pulled pork in tacos, and because Holy Voodoo is lightly spicy and almost like a southwestern style rub, it's perfect for that. For the fuel in this cook, I decided to go with a couple bundles of B&B Post Oak Spritz that I picked up from the local Proud Souls here in Denver. Shout out to you guys. Once it was up to temp, it's time to put the meat on. The plan for this cook was to roll it around 275 degrees for about 8 to 9 hours and spritz about every 1 to 2 hours with an apple cider vinegar apple juice combo. For the most part, everything was going according to plan and the color was starting to look really good, but the butt was taking a little too long to get to that perfectly wrappable 165 degrees. In Chud's most recent rib video, Bradley talked briefly about how the weather could affect the efficiency and length of the cook and actually make things take longer. And I think the same thing was happening to me. It took about 8.5 hours for this butt to get to 160 degrees, and I decided to pull and wrap it because I actually was fine with the color and put it into the oven to try to speed up the cook so that I could eat at a reasonable time with my family. I had about 2.5 hours before folks were going to be ready to eat, so I put the oven on 325 and thought that I'd have plenty of time to get it up to 200, but boy was I wrong, and when things go wrong, they go wrong in pairs. And after pulling this pork butt about 15 degrees too early and spilling out about half of the liquid gold, it was time to see if it would pull. And it did. Well, kind of. The money mussel and a few other bits made for some really good pulled pork tacos that night, and although I wouldn't necessarily say this is a failure because I'm still learning how to use the Cinder Block Smoker, I definitely wouldn't give myself a good grade for it. As you can see, some of these tubes and some of the other stuff did break apart when I used a little bit of elbow grease, but I would have liked for it to be a whole lot more tender. But having said that, the bits that were tender enough were actually really delicious, and the Holy Voodoo made for a really good pork taco. Looking back about a week, this cook taught me a lot, and it reminded me that I have a ton of room to grow. It also reminded me that even if I would have nailed this cook, it could always be better. Thanks a million for tuning in, y'all. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, hit that notifications bell to make sure you follow me along on my adventures through Barbecue Elementary.